May I have your attention, please?
Welcome to Real Gaijin, unveiling the real Japan, an American expat's inside look. Now it's time for another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts. Summarized podcast.
Today we have an interesting guest, Elizabeth Scally. Elizabeth, you want to just say hello to everyone?
Hi, good morning. Good morning in Japan, and perhaps
That's
good
right.
evening in North America.
Correct. I
Yes,
think that's
great.
right.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, thank you. Great. We'll tell you a little bit more, or Elizabeth will tell you a little bit more about herself in just a second. But just a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, we will be recording this session. So give me about 24 hours, but I'll get a recording out to everyone. And then the other thing we want to stress is we already have a few people already signed in, which is wonderful. Please use the chat to give us questions. Now, we have to use our mobile phones, not our PCs, to do everything. So I have to kind of fiddle around with that while being interviewed. So it's not easy, but we will do our best to check questions. So we will answer them as they come. So today we're going to talk about a really important subject, which is essentially teaching English in Japan. This is essentially the gateway for a lot of English-speaking foreigners to find work and a viable existence in the country of Japan, and to help a lot of Japanese people become much more professional with their Japanese. Their English. But it is a little confusing in terms of what options are available, how do you go about doing this, and so forth. So today we have literally a resident expert on the subject who has been doing this for quite a long time. I'm not going to mention how many years because Elizabeth is young still. But Elizabeth, tell us, you've got like an alphabet soup after your name, TESOL, ESL, ALT. What is all this?
okay. So the English teaching profession has acronyms. So the acronym for the diploma that I have is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. And all around the world, Australia, the UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, TESOL diplomas and TESOL master's degrees are widely recognized as standards. And mine happens to be from a community college in Vancouver, Canada, my hometown.
Uh-huh.
And so TESOL, TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. You'll also hear you'll hear acronyms like ESL, English as a
Yes.
second language, EFL, English as a foreign language, which is more descriptive of the context. So,
Good point.
okay. So
And what
Japan.
about alt? What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So this is a how would you say? Assistant language teacher. It is an acronym you'll hear a lot, ALT. And an ALT it's always said ALT. I've never heard people say alt. Okay.
Oh.
ALTs are
I'm already making a mistake. Okay.
okay. No worries. This is a lot to learn, right? So the ALT system in Japan originated in the 1980s. Japan made trade deals with the US and partly with the UK, and began to invite young people, especially young graduates, for the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. And one of the categories, there are three, in fact, on the JET program. There are ALTs, assistant language teachers, the most common position. And then counselor for international relations, CIR. There are people who cooperate with international associations. They promote tourism in their towns. And the rare one is kind of very rare to meet. I've never met anybody. SEA. SEA, Sports Exchange Advisor. Yeah. So
That's a good one.
yeah, and apparently it's, as far as I understand, it's by invitation only to exceptional young sports people.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making sense of all of those acronyms. By the way, we'll make a little cheat sheet in the follow-up announcement here when we publish the recording.
Okay.
Before we get into a little bit more details about the JET program and all of that, first, let's hear about you, Elizabeth. Where are you
Mhm.
from? How in the world did you end up in Japan?
Okay. I blame my dad.
Okay.
Seriously. Okay.
That's for why you were born or no?
Yeah, really. From my interest in Japan. Okay. I didn't I didn't mention this before, but my dad in the 1980s got curious about um, an import shop in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm from, and the import shop had die-cast Gundam figures.
Oh my goodness.
Were
You
this
were
this big, and they had, like, transforming robots long before that became popular in North America. We had these beautiful my brother keeps them. They're collector's items. But
I
anyway,
can
my dad
imagine.
got me curious. Okay. So,
So before you were born, you were already associated with Japan somehow.
yeah,
Okay,
so
great.
1980s, in the 1980s,
Oh, okay.
we
You
we
were born.
became we became, aware of, like, Japanese animation. At the time, it was, did you ever see, um, uh, Our Star Blazers?
No, but
No?
I'm Speed Racer vintage myself, so
Great, okay. I think they're contemporary. Somebody can tell us whether they are. But, I watched every morning. It was broadcast on an American television station that we could pick up in
Mhm.
Canada, and we
Okay.
watched, Star Blazers, the Japanese title, Uchu Senkan Yamato.
Oh, Uchu Senkan. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Got it.
space battleship Yamato.
Yes. Okay. Not the
Yeah,
one that actually sunk. All right. So going from
anyway,
there to teaching English in Japan, how did
right.
what happened in between there?
Right, yeah, so, in the 1990s when I was graduating, I was eager to teach. However, it 1990s, early 1990s, we'd just seen Japan's bubble economy collapse. There was fallout, of course, in other markets. Canada, where I'm from, was in recession. And one of the results of that was new graduates scrambling to stay in master's programs. They did not leave university, and a lot of young people really heavy competition for Bachelor of Education. Uh, Canada's universities typically you finish a 4-year degree, and then you do a teaching degree for 1 year calendar year, sometimes two, and the competition was fierce, and I couldn't get in. So yeah, so I talked to my Canadian literature professor who said, Well, your grades are okay, but I know it's competition." She says, "Why not do ESL,
Mm.
teaching English to speakers of other languages?" So I immediately uh, signed up for the TESOL program that was available in Vancouver. And also, the motivation for it was partly to come to Japan, but also my family is multilingual, and I'm kind of the first child in my family, in my generation, to speak English as my first language. So
Oh, okay. Wow, what an interesting background. And how
yeah,
did that lead you to Japan?
right. So finishing, sorry, I started working in Vancouver ESL schools, and it was really interesting. But I got more and more pulled to Japan. I really wanted to go, and one big reason was martial arts. I
Ah,
had been training. Yeah, I had been trained a little bit in kung fu, but I was really drawn to Japanese martial arts.
mm,
So perfect combination for me was martial arts and teaching. Yeah.
okay. And so how did you combine those two passions?
Right. So, 1998, 99, I applied to the JET program and I got
Ah,
accepted. The JET
okay.
program, Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And so, where were you stationed then?
Right. Okay. So the day I got my assignment. Okay, remember this is like 1999. We don't have Google Maps. Okay, and the internet is pretty young, right? So it says on my uh, the papers, the letters come from the embassy in or the consulate in Vancouver. It says you've been assigned to Ehime Prefecture, and the town is called Uwajima.
Okay.
Right.
Near me.
Right. Okay. But
Yeah.
at the time, right? So I grabbed an atlas, I grabbed maps and stuff, and I couldn't. It wasn't on the map, and
Okay.
I burst into
That's
tears.
reassuring.
I cried. I cried,
But you're going. So
but I was
good.
going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so one thing led to another, and you finally ended up in Uwajima, Ehime again. So
Yeah. I
pretty
did.
far out there in Shikoku.
Yeah, it is pretty far out there. I managed to uh, get along quite well, and I really liked the coworkers, Japanese staff, and I made friends with local people, Japanese and non-Japanese.
Yeah.
But I only lasted a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, well, wait a minute. Then what happened?
Right. So, I don't know. Have you been to Ehime, Ken?
I have actually. I live near it. I live on the other side of the water from there in Kyushu.
Right. Yeah. And what do you feel like? It's where you live. The demographics. You get to see a wide range of people.
Well, yeah, right near where I am, I live in Beppu, so we get a lot of tourists. But um, Ehime can, yeah, it's certainly aging population. Probably more Mikan mandarin oranges there than people.
Right. And that was the thing that did me in. From the mountain behind my house, on a good day, I could see Beppu.
Ah, yeah, okay, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so not too far.
Yeah. So great memories, but one of the issues with Ehime Ken, like a lot of um prefectures that are far from centers, all the young people go to universities in the prefectural centers. So everybody went to school at Matsuyama University, and when they're done, they don't come back.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
So it was a difficult environment for you at the time.
for me, because I was still, you know, uh, at the time I was in my late 20s, mid to late 20s, and I just could not meet people my age.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So
or
how did you
very similar.
rectify that situation?
I didn't what do you say? I didn't apply to recontract for JET, and I went home to Canada.
Oh, I see. Okay. I
Yeah.
got it. Well, that's one way to do it. All
Yep.
right. And
Yeah.
but you continued teaching English as a second language.
That's right. And so one thing about the ESL field in Canada at the time, some of the high performing schools preferred um, teacher candidates who were already multilingual, not necessarily speakers of the languages that the students speak, simply that they have
Ah,
the experience, that they know what it's like to be multilingual, and that they
mhm.
had the candidates, they preferred candidates who um, had experience abroad.
Oh,
So
okay. So you tick those boxes.
yeah, so crazy story. I landed in Vancouver in late August 2000. Um, Everybody around me scrambled. Within a week and a half, I had an apartment. Um, Somebody lent me a car, and I had a job.
Well, you're very efficient. Very good.
Yeah, it was really nuts, and I had a boyfriend too, like, within 3 weeks.
Wow. Okay. Fast mover. Um,
So
Actually, you brought up something
I
very
was just like,
important, which is the qualifications, though, especially for the teaching part.
yeah,
Um,
but yeah, that's the thing. It's the TESOL diploma that I have is, what would you say? It's like the ground level for teaching English to speakers of other languages, and it's only really acceptable. Like conventionally, it's only acceptable to institutions that teach ESL. It's not for public
okay.
schools.
But
Yeah.
can you go back to since you were on this JET program? Maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding was that you don't necessarily have to have that kind of academic credential in order to apply and be accepted to the program. Is
You're
that
right,
right?
you're right.
So,
Yeah,
what
so
do you need besides
yeah,
enthusiasm?
good question. Yeah. Certainly I had to really show a lot of, like, proactive behavior to get the job. But, what could I tell you? So JET has, 52, 53 participating countries, and, yeah, I was just looking at the numbers, like, oh, and they just added India this year.
Yes, I saw that in the newspaper the other day.
Yep.
And by the way, can you go back, step back though? What is the purpose of JET?
Yeah.
Is it,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
It's a really big question. Okay. So like you were saying, you don't necessarily need a teaching license or teacher preparation at all for joining the JET program as an ALT, assistant language teacher. Well, um, so the JET program, the origins are in the 1980s. The idea was to build trade ties when there was tension between the US and Japan,
Ah,
right?
yes, I see. Yeah, people, politicians smashing Japanese cars. That's the image. Yes.
And you remember like that cultural atmosphere at the time, like, inscrutable Japanese, um, really questionable movies made in that time.
Mm.
Do you remember did you ever see, Rising Sun with Sean Connery? Yeah, and it hits every stereotype about Japanese people, right? Yeah, yeah. And then, another one, do you remember Gung Ho?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Right? And this like, the idea gung ho, I think, is a more interesting example that because it's about Americans and Japanese trying to cooperate to run a car factory, right? A car business, right? And all the collisions that they have, right? And it's got a happy ending. But anyway. So anyway, the whole thing was at the time there was so much tension and
Mm.
the the whole one of the ideas was, okay, part of trade negotiations is we'll start an exchange program, work it out with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, get involved with the Ministry of Education, which is abbreviated to MEXT, MEXT. And so the whole idea was to get this kind of exchange thing going. And so I can't remember, like, in the first couple years, it was mostly Americans and British. Like, I think you mentioned to me a while ago, Fulbright?
Oh, yeah, that's one way I got to Japan. But
Yeah.
um, so wait a minute. This is essentially the JET program is essentially a cultural exchange program. Where does teaching or helping Japanese to become more proficient in English language skills? How
Right,
does that fit into all this?
right. So, one of the issues with the JET program, okay, the title is Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, right?
Hmm.
And the title for, we keep talking about assistant language teacher, and the name for the, position in Japanese is Eigo Shiro Joshu, which means, pardon my pronunciation, it's not quite right. It it means, English, uh, leadership or instruction assistant. So there's something different because it doesn't say teacher in Japanese.
Mm,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay.
So there's all kinds
I'm
of
guessing that's an
ambiguity.
important point here.
Yeah, yeah, so there's all kinds of ambiguity about the JET program.
Mm.
What's it for? And so the idea was, like, you'll see in the, promotions for the JET program, it's about, um, grassroots, cultural exchange,
Yeah. Okay.
right? That's a big part of it. The idea is young people, um, people from participating countries come to Japan, they build, rapport with their communities, they get involved, then they, ideally go home and maintain those ties with the community in which they
Ah.
were placed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that is part of the the point, but about the teaching thing, right?
Yeah. So wait a minute. Is the cultural exchange aspect still the top priority of the JET program, and teach English language instruction is kind of secondary?
That's a really good point. And okay, so um one of the questions about the the ALTs with the JET program is if the ALTs are not qualified in some way as teachers, some kind of qualification, how are they supposed to perform with um, the Japanese teachers of English? Um, they
Mhm.
they're supposed to assist, um, but what does that mean? When you look at the Ministry of Education's job description for an ALT, it's like a single paragraph in a document, buried in a document, and it
No.
does not list the duties, and it doesn't really describe, like, what they can or cannot do.
So is the implication of that that depending upon the teacher with whom you're paired, the ALT either does a lot of work or might not do very much? It depends on the instruction? Oh, okay. So, well, what would be the ideal kind of situation? I
Okay,
mean,
I can tell you about what happened to me.
yeah, okay, let's start
Yeah,
with that. It's a
sure.
baseline.
So I arrived in, Uwajima City, and I got placed in, 4 schools, and
Oh,
the, um one of the schools, the Japanese teachers were their fluency in English had a range, but they were really, like, proactive and enthusiastic, and some of them had, TESOL diplomas like mine.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and so they
Two
just
peas in a pod.
yeah, it was awesome, like, we could talk about things and use the same terminology, right? And, like, "You're so right. I know what you mean," you know? And, the lessons were super fun because I got asked to participate, and at that time, I didn't speak Japanese well,
Ah, right. You
right?
were just arrived. Okay.
Yeah. So here was junior high school with 3 I can't remember, just, like, 3 people who mentored me for a year.
Oh, okay. That sounds great.
That was just awesome. Awesome, right? And,
But I have a follow-up question though. You
sure.
said you were paired with four different schools or teachers? So
Both,
one
both.
ALT does, it's not just a one-on-one relationship with a single Japanese instructor of English. You have multiple people.
Right. So I was the municipal, ALT in the city, and I was placed in 4 schools, and I had, in each school, there may be 1 to 10 no, I shouldn't say that, less than 10, somewhere between 1 and 10, Japanese teachers of English. So it's a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
people to talk to.
And then now back at that time might be different from now, but let's just, I mean, the elephant in the room is, let's be honest, the English language proficiency of the average Japanese person tends to be pretty low, despite all of this ongoing effort. Now, maybe things have changed recently, but were you just not exposed to? I mean, wasn't there enough time to have enough exposure for the children to really benefit? Was that the issue, or how was it back
Oh,
then?
like, why did the teachers not have the proficiency, you mean?
Well, not just well, okay, yeah. There's another
Yeah.
point. It's
Oop.
not just the students, but the teachers that are
Yeah.
supposed to be teaching English. Yeah, that's kind of a fundamental issue. But
Yeah.
so wait a minute. What's your view on all this? Is this program uh, working or not?
Um, okay. So, um, I feel like it works and it doesn't. It works in some situations. It works depending on how uh, the institution that you're placed in, how they perceive the ALT. And it
Yes,
also
it sounds
depends
like
on,
that.
yep. And that's called ESID, the acronym ESID. Every situation is different. Is and yep,
There's another acronym.
yep.
All right.
And
So,
specific to JET, right?
aren't
They-
there standards though in terms of what? Well, maybe there are now, but way back in the day when you
Yeah.
first arrived, sounds like there weren't really any standards.
Okay. Anecdotally, um, my former partner was educated in the Kanto region in the 1980s. He had in his English class, there was an ALT. The ALT was one of either one of those Fulbright exchange people, or maybe he was just in the first few cohorts of the JET program where it was more open. My former partner said that young person was highly educated, really thorough, doing his best to use Japanese to bridge the
Mm.
communication. And my former partner says, "Oh my gosh, I learned so much. I was so excited about English."
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Now, one of the things he said to me was, he said, "Me and my classmates were well aware that this person was like elite,
Hmm.
like one of the like Fulbright, probably Fulbright,
Hmm.
right? Like you know more about it than I do."
Well, in any case, so back in the day, though, what were you in? Or who determined what you did? Was it
Oh
literally
yeah,
just on a school by school basis? So you were going around four different schools. Do they have a different standard
yes,
for what they expected out of you from each
right.
location, or was it the same?
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. So, that experience that he had, it was just like one person in one school. My experience, every week, I got moved to a different school,
Oh,
and uh, I'll be honest. Okay, school, we'll just call it North School. North School totally embraced me. I got to do like broadcasts on the PA
mhm.
system. We did letter exchanges. In the
Mm,
classroom, I was treated like a student teacher?
sure. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. That
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
was yeah, like, every step, the JTEs were telling the kids, "And Miss Galley is going to give you an activity, and I will help her. Uh,
Hmm.
here's something you do a reading, do a listening, and she's gonna help you." And,
Okay, that sounds like the ideal situation, and it
I
probably
do.
the impact was that your students actually learned how to speak English.
Their I would say their motivation to study was, um, encouraged, right? And
Okay.
there were a handful of, students who started a letter writing exchange with me.
Mhm. Oh, very
Yeah, it
good.
was great. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So that's the
every
North
week,
School. Let me guess the
that's
South School experience was different.
oh, I want to cry. It was so horrible. So the Japanese teachers of English at the South School, we'll just call it South School. One of them told me, "Please sit in the staff room. Sit."
Okay.
I had a like a schedule that said I was going to be placed in, like, these classes, these lessons, and she's like, "Oh, no, please sit in the staff room." I'm looking around like, there's nothing to do, right?
Mm,
And then, the next week that I attended, like, a month later I attended, um, "Oh, the class starts at 8:45. Please come at, 8, or 9 o'clock. Please come at 9 o'clock and please read vocabulary. Here's vocabulary list.
Hmm.
And so I did. I showed up, bowed at the door, read the vocabulary, and then stood there. And then she looked at me, no, no, you leave.
Okay, so extreme variance in how you were treated and asked
Oh, yeah,
to participate.
that happened.
Okay, now that was 25 years ago, almost
Yep,
or more.
yep.
How have things changed to the present?
It's not different. According
Oh,
to, uh, okay, so I do keep up with, um, the chatter on social media, and you'll see a lot of this chatter is about, um, uh, everything from ALTs being scheduled every hour of the day and getting exhausted. Often those ALTs lead the lessons, and
okay.
they're they have a really heavy workload. And then other ALTs, you'll see they'll report, "Oh, it's an easy job. I just sit at the desk all
Mhm.
day. I play games. I watch YouTube."
Oh, my. And is it still like you had it where you had assignments at 4 different schools and you would simply rotate among those 4 schools? Is that common still?
Yes, as far as I understand, in like mid-sized cities, they're the boards of education probably rely on like a pool of ALTs. Either if they're on the JET program, they'll have like so many ALTs, and to maintain the coverage at the schools, they're rotated.
Okay, so, actually, I know you did some research in terms of how many
Yeah.
ALTs there are on the JET program. Maybe you could run through those stats, but it sounds like there aren't enough to manage the
hmm
requirements at all the schools in the country.
it looks, yeah, it looks like it. So this the most recent stats I have. I'm looking at uh the number of participants according to the JET program homepage right now. This year, it says the total, just under 2,000 people are participating in the JET program right now.
Wait, that's low, isn't it?
And
I thought
amongst them, there
historically
are,
it was a lot higher than that.
historically it was. This is a bit shocking to see the numbers, but it says, let's see here, for ALTs, it's quite, it's kind of shocking. There's just 2,000. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I misquoted. I misquoted. I'm looking at the first year stats. The first year stats is 2,000. Scratch that. The total right now for ALTs is uh, 5,000,
Right.
just a little over 5,000 for all
Okay,
years.
and, these ALTs are spread or distributed more or less equally among elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools?
It depends on your placements. Okay, so my placement at the time, uh, th- the Ministry of Education had not yet implemented elementary school uh, lessons. So I was only junior high. Um, that yeah. So in 2011, the Ministry of Education made grades 5 and 6 of elementary school um, officially to officially have English or foreign language studies. So now, yes, the ALTs are probably, they're either only assigned to elementary or they have a mix of elementary and junior high. Yeah,
Among up to 4 different schools
could
per
be.
ALT. Okay.
Oh, I got one more horror show for you, and you'll see that on the ALT training online. The There were people in my year who were one shot. That's one shot refers to an ALT probably with the prefectural board who is sent to a different school almost every day.
Ooh,
It
well,
yeah.
that's very different. Okay. Huh. And, what's the rhyme or I mean, is there any rhyme or reason as to how people are assigned and the job responsibilities divvied up like that, or is that
Yeah.
unknown?
Okay, so um, that's something I can't really answer right now in
Okay.
terms of the JET program. But we do know. Here's another interesting development. Philippines people
Hmm.
from Philippines now participate in the JET program, and here it says 334 are from the Philippines. Now, unlike Americans, Canadians, Australians, whoever, they do have to have a teaching credential.
Oh, so it
Uh-huh.
depends on the nationality. The requirements are a little different. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Hey, one other
Right.
thing you told me
Have to
about
bear in mind.
before. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Philippines people have to have approval from the government, their government, to work abroad because they don't want to drain
Oh,
all the workers out of the
visa.
Philippines. So,
Oh, wow. Okay, this is
yeah,
pretty complicated.
it is.
Just to
Yeah.
add even more complication to the mix, you told me when we first met about how there are participants on the JET program that are essentially directly employed by the JET program, but then there's this other whole category of ALTs that are on
Yeah.
dispatch contracts. What does that mean?
Yeah. Okay. So the most recent statistics that I can find indicate that uh, dispatch contracts, Haken Gaisha, they're dispatch companies that um, hire uh, um, ALTs from abroad, but also domestically. And right now, it looks like, ooh, yeah, it's nearly 6,000 people are on dispatch contracts. Yeah.
Okay, so and the location of where these instructors are being dispatched would be the same as the JET program, then essentially elementary, middle school, and high schools in
Yes.
Japan.
Yeah. And possibly
Ah,
high school.
okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
And why are dispatch contracts used? Is it just because there simply aren't enough people, teachers on the JET program?
You know, this is a really terrible thing, but it's boards of education that don't have the personnel that will that are able to manage the non or Japanese learning foreign assistants. They don't have the expertise in HR. They don't
Oh,
take responsibility for it.
oh. So they're outsourcing that function to this third party.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Hmm.
all right, let's for listeners and or people that are going to listen to this recording that
Yeah.
aspire to teach English in Japan and have this cultural experience or act somehow like an ambassador, cultural ambassador. So one option is to apply to the JET program, but another option then would be to offer up your services to a dispatch company. Is that correct?
Yeah. And the
Ah,
dispatch companies hire for applicants from abroad.
oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So there are two options, two pathways to getting an opportunity to teach in a Japanese public school. And then let's just divvy up the numbers. So we're talking about a roughly
Mhm.
5,000 instructors per year in the JET program and another 6,000 that are dispatched through these dispatch contracts.
That's right.
Okay. And then you also mentioned that there are a few schools that actually hire directly.
Okay, so what can happen is people leaving their jet contract. They've got they've acquired the Japanese language. They understand school culture, or they could be spouses of Japanese nationals or spouses of foreign nationals who are willing to work in schools, and they end up working direct hired for schools. Yeah.
Got it. And so there are roughly around, what, 3,600 of those people in the country?
Looks like it is no, it's under 4,000, according to the
And
statistics from a couple years ago.
okay, all right. And then you had also dug up that there is another category on called other,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Yeah.
what what does that mean?
Okay. And this is where I'd like to mention the research of um, Alto. Our founder, Nathaniel Reed, he's an ALT working in Japan, and he's also a researcher. Um, what he found was there's an unknown number in that other category. How many people? Like a couple years ago, it the other people, like 4,000, over 4,000 people. And what he discovered was a significant number of those are Japanese people
Oh, that are teaching English in Japanese schools.
as assistants.
Oh, okay. Well, they might have had just some proficiency and they want to pass that. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So if you add up all of these, we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 18,000 to 20,000
yeah,
instructors.
yeah.
Okay, that's a lot, but
It
that's
looks like
still
a
not
lot.
enough. I mean, I actually don't, off the top of my head, I should look up on ChatGPT. How many elementary, middle, and high schools are there in Japan? Is it, I
Their
mean,
stats are there. Yeah, yeah.
but so in other words, even if we have 20,000 people that are qualified somehow through or not necessarily qualified, but they are actually teaching English right now in public school in Japan, that's still not enough. So you have to be sent to one of multiple schools in most
Hmm.
cases.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. And then I suppose the answer to this one is it varies, but how much time do you actually have with students? And this
Good
maybe
question.
varies by uh, elementary, middle, and high school, but how much time do you have to be with the
Okay, so
student?
right, it's a really big question. So, um, the the when I was on the JET program, I had those 4 schools, like I said, and the lessons were 50 minutes long, and and I was only scheduled to see each class once a week, but I'm
Hmm.
rotating through 4 schools.
Okay, so let's look at it the other way from the perspective of the child. Let's say
Yeah.
a third, well,
Mhm,
let's
mhm.
pick a fifth grader. So
Yeah,
just first exposure, it starts
yeah,
in fifth grade. Is that right?
yeah. But
Okay.
right now, some schools are doing from 1st grade.
So it varies
I
by
I'd have
schools.
to double
All
check,
right.
but yeah,
Is
yeah.
there national standards for this?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I'll be fair, I'm not sure if elementary grades 1 through 4 are now official. I think they may be.
Okay.
You have to do
Oh,
that.
all right. Okay, so then they'll need even more instructors. All right, so let's think about it from the perspective of a fifth grader. How often
Yep.
per week will that fifth grader have exposure to a foreign expert in English, a native speaker of English?
Uh, it's possible that that 5th grader may only see that, ALT once a month. It's possible.
For 50 minutes?
Yeah,
Oh, so wait, that doesn't sound like nearly enough to become proficient.
yeah. Other situations, it may be that the ALT attends, to one school only, and so the kids are getting a lot of exposure to the ALT. Maybe. It's
Oh, so
really
this is totally arbitrary based on where you happen to live and your school district.
like and the
Yeah,
ESID
man.
issue, right? Every situation is
Well,
different.
this
Yeah,
maybe this is
yeah.
widely talked about among the ALT society, but I mean, in general, is that widely known? I mean,
That's a
it
good
seems like
question.
kind of
Mhm. Um, one one of my Japanese neighbors is in his 60s. He's a retired guy, and you get him started about ALTs, he goes off. Oh my god, he gets so angry. They're wasting money. The ALTs should have, they should have training. The ALTs from the dispatch companies are not paid correctly.
Mm.
The employment conditions, they abuse the employment conditions for these dispatch ALTs. He'll go on and on about it.
Well,
Other
actually,
people,
I'm glad you brought that up because
yeah,
I have heard chatter that
mhm,
way back in the day, essentially when you were in Uwajima in Shikoku,
mhm,
uh, I guess especially for a new graduate or someone that didn't have a lot of work experience,
yeah,
the job was pretty darn good in terms of pay and other
mhm,
benefits as a JET program ALT.
yeah,
Uh, I understand that over the years, salaries were not adjusted very well or much at all. And up
mhm,
until just recently, when there has apparently been a pretty big adjustment, it
right.
was pretty hard to make ends meet as an ALT on the JET program. Is that correct?
Okay, I was very lucky. My rent was subsidized. Um, I was told explicitly by the school, the principals, you're going to receive the school lunch of absentee kids, and you don't pay for it.
Th- All right. Well, that's good. So free lunch, literally.
I got,
Great.
I was so spoiled. Free lunch, token amount of rent,
So
right?
that's
And
wonderful.
yeah, and I didn't. The city was Uwajima is so small, and my school is so close. Three of the schools I could cycle to in about 15 minutes.
Ah, okay. So
So
no expenses
virtually no
in terms of
expenses.
transportation.
That
All
yeah,
right.
right. Yeah. And
So
then,
tell us though about how the salary and general benefits though across the board kind of
sure.
yeah. What I'm hearing was it didn't kind of keep up with
Mhm.
the cost of living in Japan up until just recently. Is this true?
That's right. That's right. And
Okay.
so the salary that I came in on, uh, in 1999 was only, uh, adjusted this year. Like,
Oh,
for since 1999, every ALT on the JET program coming in was paid the same as I had been paid 25 years ago.
oh my. All right.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully somebody got the memo that that has to change. All right.
Okay, so
Tell yeah, go
what
ahead.
happened though? Okay, that salary increase was part of the across the board salary increases for public employees.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So it must have been difficult to get that consensus to make the change, but it did happen.
Mhm.
So
It
right.
happened.
So before we move off to that, I want to ask you about how JET program ALT salaries and benefits compare to the average dispatch contract ALT in just a second. But before we do that, right
Mhm.
now, as a JET program participant, let's say a new graduate from a university
Mhm.
starting out, is this job with additional benefits like subsidized housing in some cases, is this more or less attractive now?
Good question. So right now the annual salary works out to a little over 4 million yen a year.
Hmm. So
And
that's about average in Japan for that age, right?
it's pretty much for that age band, right? The 20s. So absolutely it on the Japan side, that's a suitable salary for a young person who's living
Mhm.
alone.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Now, what about that's under the JET program. What
That's under the
about
jet.
these ALTs that are working for dispatch or on a dispatch contract
Yeah.
situation? Are their benefits and salary the same?
It's shocking. I just looked up yesterday. I cruised some of the job boards. One of the jobs that I saw listed for apparently like near full time, because they'll schedule you for like just under the threshold for full time. So
Mhm.
it's very dodgy. 2.6 to 3 million yen a year.
Okay, so in general, it's significantly lower than
Yeah,
under the JET program.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And direct employment, since a lot of those people previously worked through the JET program, I imagine that their benefits would be at least as good as the JET program in general, would you say?
Yeah. Um, occasionally I'll go through I'll go and check on school boards that are directly hiring. They don't go through JET, they don't go through dispatch. And the the salaries, can't quote annual salaries, but the
Hmm.
monthly salaries are somewhere between like 270 to 350.
Mm. Okay,
uh,
so that's lower, but all right. Well, that's a reference point.
But
By the way,
it's pretty
we
good.
have a question. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
bad. We have a question that's related to this topic. Can jets do part-time teaching to boost income? In other words, to augment their income? Are they allowed to do that uh, with their visa classification?
Jet program participants are uh, essentially public employees, which prohibits them from having other employment.
Ooh, and really, so that
Yeah.
covers everything, or like any job? They can't like have a part-time job as a waiter or a waitress, even.
I'm pretty sure, like from my experience, I was told right away you can't have a part-time job, no way, as a jet program participant.
Huh. Okay. And then for people that are in a labor dispatch contract situation, their situation is different. They can augment their income.
Yeah. So right, if you're a dispatched ALT, you your visa category is education, and
Oh,
that limits you to only jobs that are within education. That means you cannot work at an eikaiwa, like one of those station front English classrooms. You'd have to get permission to work outside of your visa category.
okay. Well, that doesn't seem all that logical. Is wouldn't the Kiowa private language school wouldn't that fall under education?
No,
Does-
because eikaiwas are not regulated. Uh, they're regulated with business licenses, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to have any oversight from the Ministry of Education to run a, an eikaiwa. So they've
Okay.
got nothing
So,
to do
and the
with
same problem
visa.
with it if they just wanted to be a waiter or waitress, same thing.
uh, jet program.
No,
You
not
can't.
jet program.
Oh, sorry. For ALT work,
Dispatch. Yeah, dispatch
dispatch.
contract.
You've got an instructor visa. You can't work in food and beverage
Mm, okay.
without
My goodness.
permission. You can go to, yeah,
All right. Well, hopefully that answered the question. So thank you very much. By the way, for everyone listening, please feel free, just like one participant just did, to put in the chat any questions that you might have, and we'll look at those.
yeah,
Uh, well, that's interesting.
yeah. Oh, so while we're waiting, can I tell you? I
Yeah.
just want to share this really quick. So my personal opinion is it's jet or bust. Um, you
Okay.
If your country participates, there's 52 of them. If your country participates and you um, are very keen on working in education, experience the education, academic environment in Japan, absolutely go with the JET program. Um, uh, the thing is, the benefits for the JET program, like amount of support that you get, is fantastic, and you
Mm,
get plugged
okay.
into. Yeah, you get stipends for or like grants for doing a TESOL certificate. It's not
Oh, I see.
right. You get some support for that. You get,
Mhm.
yeah. There's a Japanese language course that they provide.
Okay, so lots of support. And
Yep.
by the way, the contract that let's say a new graduate from a university, let's say from Canada as an example, on the JET program. Is this a 1-year deal or is it renewable or what's the story?
Right. So when I was brought in on the JET program, it was a maximum of 3 years. Right
Oh,
now, yeah, it's a maximum of 3 years. Now it's a maximum of 5.
oh,
There are,
okay.
yeah.
And do most people extend to the full time?
No,
No.
I'm looking at the numbers. The numbers of 4th and 5th year, it's quite low compared to the first years.
And so we have another question, by the way, but
Mhm. Oh,
before we get to that, what do So after doing this ALT work on the JET program, let's say, as an example, uh, what do most people do to pivot to another career, or like you, do they go home?
Yeah. So what as far as I'm aware, like when you look at the statistics on uh foreigners working in Japan, the vast majority of people come into Japan for a year or 2 or 3 and then they go. Like
I
the turnover is extremely high. So and that also is applies to the JET program. The turnover is very high.
So it's
So
an experience.
it's an experience. Um,
Okay.
but at the same time, when you talk to people who are working in post-secondary in especially the Kanto area, so many of them are former ALTs.
Okay. That's a good
They
segue to our question. Well, we have a couple of questions, but
okay.
here's
Yeah.
a long one.
Okay.
All right. So I'll read it. Thank you for posting. Let's face it, alt is not a career, it's a chance to teach in a foreign country. Well, that's exactly what we just concluded. You either
Mhm.
come for a few years and return to your home country, or you do the footwork to make teaching a career and getting out of being an ALT.
Mhm.
Okay. I went through the whole process of teaching over nearly 20 years, starting as an ALT, not JET, elementary, junior, high, business English, and now going on 12 years of teaching at various universities in Tokyo. I am 60 years old. One thing I am not seeing is younger people teaching English at university level. This is exactly what you just talked about. Aha, that's an interesting comment.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, all right. And
That's a
so
really
maybe you have a
important
comment
comment.
on that? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, uh, I am similar to the person who just commented. I did
Mm,
everything. I came up through ALT. I came in with my uh, with a initial TESOL uh, qualification. I also did grad school here.
oh, okay.
So
So
yeah.
you're a lifer here. All
Oh
right.
yeah. And also I did my best with the Japan JLPT. I passed N2 and I can cope with the N1 I think this year. I work in a private high school where I'm directly hired in a private high school
Ah,
where
okay. So
I'm
that's what you did to pivot.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
So there's this like we saw in the stats, there's a small category, a couple thousand people, a couple thousand, yeah, maybe 3,000, 4,000, perhaps, that are direct hired in the schools.
mm,
And a certain portion of them, uh, yeah, they came up as ALTs.
okay.
They're ALTs. They work direct hire in the schools, and they may or may not have like advanced diplomas or master's degrees in
Okay, that's
TESOL.
good. Hey, by the way, time is
Yeah,
absolutely flying by, but we'll
I
just keep
know.
going for a little bit.
Sure.
We've got all of a sudden quite a few questions and comments. So, in any case, the person that asked that or mentioned that comment said, "We need younger university teachers." That sounds like you're
Mhm.
in agreement. Okay, hey, we have another question here. Allow me to ask another question. How much time do JETs or people on the JET program have to pursue further studies? For example, uh, distance master's degree in their own country. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of working, could they spend extra time bettering themselves to get more
Okay,
education?
I really recommend going onto Facebook and I hate to say it, Reddit. Reddit has an active JET program subreddit. Ask your question there and confirm w- how people are balancing their master's degrees with the ALT work as a JET. And uh, yeah, ask away. Also, again, I want to say that like the positive point and how me and ALTTO, Assistant Language Teacher Training Online, want to support teachers, ALTs, and other educators. And I really recommend looking at our website for the massive open online courses, which are free. It's to support ALTs and other educators with coursework that's very
Oh,
specific to this context.
oh, perfect.
That's what we do. It's all free.
Oh,
And
that's
also
wonderful.
asking, yeah, and also asking, I hope so. And also asking in our forums, like we have a Discord, we have line groups. What else do we have? Facebook, of course. We've got a
Mhm.
presence there, and I can give you all the contact information for this. Please
Yeah.
ask away in those forums about how people are experiencing further education while they're working as ALTs.
Okay. Hey, by the
Yeah.
way, the same person asked a follow-up question. Just to clarify, are there incentives to upskill or become more credentialed?
A Absolutely. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that the average salary for a person with a teacher license, a master's degree is on average much lower in Japan than, say, North
Mhm.
America, Canada, US, and probably, I think, compared to the UK too. But at the same time, the benefits are security. Um,
Mhm.
like I work in a private high school. I have job security. I'm a regular employee. Um, incremental salary increases. Being if you're university or private high school like me, you're in the private mutual something. It's
Mhm.
like a mutual assistance, which is similar to the pension system for public employees.
Nice.
The benefits are huge.
Okay, that makes sense. Hey, we have another comment slash
Mhm.
question.
Okay.
Um, I'd say the government should stop getting support for their English education from ALTs and hire qualified teacher professionals to revise their curriculum and let them teach, not assist. Uh,
Yep.
what do you think about that?
Okay. Yes and no. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. Yes, it is. How would you say? It's a waste of human resources to bring in people with myriad qualifications and skills and then ask them to be assistants. That's a terrible waste of
Mm,
personnel. And on the flip side, y- know that we really need this system because it's so flexible, because it allows in
mm,
everybody, well, anybody with a bachelor's degree from these countries, and that's with a jet, and anybody with a bachelor's degree from many countries that, uh, with the dispatch companies, there's the potential to bring in people who will go the distance, and they will
mm.
become really valuable in their institutions and in the academic communities, and we see that. Time the turnover is just churn,
Well, it
and
sounds like we
so
just heard from somebody like that who's been here 20 years. So, okay, a diamond in the rough, huh? All right, very good. Okay, here is another question.
yeah,
I would love to teach at a private high school. How do I find those opportunities besides waiting for posts on Gaijin Pot or jobs in Japan? Great question.
great question. You will not find them there.
Oh, okay. Do tell. Where do you go? Is this all word of
Okay,
mouth?
so no, actually, the probably the person is looking in the wrong places. Um, JOLT job listings,
Oh,
Japan Association of Language Teacher job placement, job listings,
so, by
and
the
the
way, I'm
other
just gonna. So, in that instance, it is Jolt, not
it's JOLT.
JALT.
Yeah, it's called JOLT. Yeah, and the other one is being recruited word of mouth. You need to be involved in community. And the
Mm,
long shot, yeah, recruitment and placement companies that are that contract with they hold contracts with private high schools. That's all they do, and they are looking for uh, teachers with qualifications. They don't take
Uh,
somebody with just a BA. No.
so like you. I see. Okay. So, but the key word there was private, sounds like.
Mhm.
Ah.
Okay, so yeah, if
Hmm.
you wanna work in a private high school in Japan, network through JOLT, get involved in JOLT. There are other organizations, certainly ALTTO. We have a community of people who can talk to you, and
Okay.
we do all kinds of events, or we a lot of online webinars, like webinar stuff, and we're working on how to connect people a bit better post webinar era.
Yeah.
COVID really boosted that, right?
Yeah.
And but absolutely, JOLT chapters, get
Yep.
involved. And there
Okay.
are
Hey,
2
that's great advice.
yeah, and, I'm not saying JOLT's the only game. There's also OTJ, Online Teaching Japan, which is a vibrant and positive, teacher co
Okay.
and, another one is, OTJ. No, what? I just said OTJ. ETJ, English Teaching Japan.
You
There's lots
people
of them.
love your acronyms. And speaking of that, we
Oh
have another
gosh,
question.
and
What
we
are
were joking.
CELTA, or no, CELTA and DELTA
Delta? Yeah.
certificates worth having? First of all, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, right. So, yeah, CELTA, Cambridge English Language. Yeah, okay. And my favorite, I joke with people who work in, you have a beer in the pub and you talk with people, and one of my favorite, subtleties of, English teaching is, ENSP, English for no specific purpose.
Oh, all right. So anyway, before we close out here, what
Okay,
are those two certificates, CELTA and DELTA,
sure.
useful?
Okay, CELTA and the other one,
DELTA.
Trinity, the Trinity, CELTA is Cambridge, and there's the Trinity, there's another one similar, and those are the, entry level, qualifications for teaching EFL, and, uh, Delta and the DIP TESOL. Delta is Cambridge version, and DIP TESOL is Trinity, and those are, uh, more advanced, diplomas that, uh they're really demanding to do, but
Mm.
it's a long story about what those do, but they're recognized in, the UK as, higher level qualifications for teaching English to learners.
So it sounds like they would be quite valuable to have if you're searching for a job in a private high school, for example.
Okay, so Japan does not, follow the conventions of the UK, Canada, even states in the US, Australia, all of those jurisdictions, they have, like, like organizations or not authorities, but, um, associations that recognize certain, levels of, uh, like, teaching certification. Japan doesn't do that for us. So it's case by case with the schools. If the school administration or the English department head is familiar with CELTA, Delta, Sir TESOL, Dip TESOL. It just depends.
More.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I
Oh,
think we're
thank
going to
you.
have to cut it off here because we've gone a little over on our time, but a very active question and answer session. So wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's great. Okay.
Elizabeth, thank you so much. You have shed a lot of light on this subject. And for me, I believe it or not, I've never even taught English
Yeah,
after living in Japan so many years, but that's why I didn't know ALT as opposed to the way I pronounced it. But in any
it's all
case,
good.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem.
What we are going to do is make a recording of today and a few highlights from the session I'll write up. Plus, most importantly, we'll put a little cheat sheet in here for all these acronyms and also other links, especially
Mhm.
to the organization that you're a
Yeah,
member of, ALTTO, right?
that's right. And we're here to support people and cooperate. And also, we want your expertise too from fellow
Two-way
ALTs.
street.
Yep. Yep.
Great. Thanks.
Mm.
So you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Okay, thank you so much for the really the great comments and questions. It was really nice to hear people really thinking about what this whole ALT thing is about. And thanks for joining us. And
Oh,
thanks,
well,
Mark.
thank you. Oh, it's my pleasure. And this is great to have such an active Q&A session in particular.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, well, the clock is ticking. Give me 24 hours and we'll get the recording out. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Have a wonderful day. And for
Yeah,
everyone
have a
else
good
around
one.
the world, good luck. There are opportunities in
And
Japan.
you need this.
Oh, yes, it's hot here. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. All right, have a good day. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. All right. Take care. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching and or listening to another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts on Real Gaijin. Tell us what you think and be sure to tune in again next time.
Woo!